predictions about the catastrophe.
As another therapy for Ebola is already being tested on Americans with COVID-19, but it's still unclear when any of these treatments will be widely available.
The State Department raised the travel advisory to the highest level, to level 4.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the government's top expert on infectious diseases.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dave with Marketing Ideas for Printers, and I thank all of you for again attending our newest webinar in the Coronavirus Resources for Printers webinar series. Give me a moment to rearrange my screen, and there we go. And we'll just dig right in here. As always, I'm live from my home office. As I often say, my kids are doing their home at school work now. They're not in the classroom any longer. They get the good spots. I get the bedroom here. And as I was thinking, as I was coming, preparing to come on for today's webinar, you know, I've certainly got a lot of mileage out of the going uphill both ways through a snowstorm routine with school. I've got a senior in high school. It's our second child, and she's intending to graduate this year. But you know, her story is going to top mine. She'll be able to someday tell her kids about the going to school in the middle of a worldwide pandemic story. So it's the world we're in right now. And that world is, of course, that we are still continuing to follow social distancing protocols. And that means that your website and your marketing messages have to be social distancing friendly. Or in other words, you have to be ready to be where people are shopping. And in this environment, that means, of course, shopping online. And that's part of our purpose with these webinars. It's to provide the resources to help printers survive now and thrive later. And sometimes we talk about things like shopping online. Today, we're going to have a topic is going to be more about messages and specifically social media messages. We'll get into that in a little bit. But every time we put on these webinars, I just keep thinking over and over again that there's so much good news, and that is that what we learn now, well, it's going to be the kind of things that can keep you strong once we're done with social distancing. And also important for me to let you know that the ideas shared are going to be appropriate for all printers. So even if you're not a Marketing Ideas for Printers subscriber, you will be able to take away those ideas and adapt those ideas for your own use. And that's really been our approach from the very beginning of this webinar series. We've also continued to ask for your feedback to make these webinars as relevant as possible for you. And one piece of that feedback is that our subscribers have asked us to go deeper into some of the areas that are more relevant for Marketing Ideas for Printer subscribers. And that's actually a change that you're going to see starting this week. So starting this week on Thursday, the Thursday webinars, we're going to start shifting the focus of those webinars to topics and ideas that will be more fine-tuned for Marketing Ideas for Printer subscribers. They're still going to be appropriate if you're not a subscriber. We'd still invite you to attend. You're always welcome to attend, and you're still going to get ideas from that. But we are going to start shifting that focus so that Thursday's webinars are going to be more fine-tuned for Marketing Ideas for Printers subscribers. Here's an example. Mike Jensen used his Marketing Ideas for Printers website forums to efficiently invite fellow businesses to participate in his business reference guide. And matter of fact, let me just scroll a little bit down. I've got coronavirusresourcesforprinters.com up on the screen right now. And if we go down about towards the middle of the page, you're going to see the webinar that preceded the one that we're on right now. And that's the one that featured Mike Jensen. And so in that case, Mike did talk about how his website forms are able to make this whole process more efficient. So instead of just saying Mike Jensen used his website forms, we'll now use Thursday's webinars to dig deeper into topics like that to show exactly how we set up those forms. So again, everyone is welcome to attend. I would encourage you to attend, even if you're not a Marketing Ideas for Printers subscriber. But please know that the Thursday's episode is going to start tipping towards the nuts and bolts of how to use the tools that you have available to you as a Marketing Ideas for Printers subscriber. All right, a little bit of housekeeping. So first of all, the recording of today's webinar will be posted on coronavirusresourcesforprinters.com, just like the last one was, which featured Mike down here. So that will show up after the webinar is complete. There will be a survey afterwards. And one of the questions on the survey will ask you for ideas that you have that can be shared with others, and ideas for that you have for how we can best help you with resources like this. So please, that's so important to us. It's so important to other attendees. If you can stick around after the webinar wraps up and provide that 30 seconds of feedback, or more if you want, but it really can be as quick as 30 seconds. And just to kind of go full circle, that's exactly where the idea to shift the focus of Thursday's webinars came from. That's how we learned about Mike Jensen's business resource guide. He said, hey, I've got this and I'm willing to share it with others. Well, that's where we went really deep into Mike's project there and featured that on the webinar preceding this one. Matter of fact, we've changed the survey question after the webinar just a bit, or more correctly, added a new question. And we want to ask you, would you be willing to join us as a guest on a future webinar to share ideas that have worked for you, just the same way that Mike did? If so, there is that new survey question, new spot on the survey that does invite you to share that idea, and we would welcome your ideas. We would welcome your participation because it's how we get through this. Because remember, this is only temporary. We're going to take lessons learned, lessons like Mike's business reference guide. We're going to take those lessons and come out even stronger. We will get through this together. All right, a few updates, actually really only one update, and that is to scroll down a little further on this page. In a previous webinar, we launched the survey, the COVID-19 survey for printers, and you've heard me say that on previous webinars that survey is now closed. So no more submitting answers for that survey or submitting responses. Some of the questions honestly had a little bit of a shelf life, so it's time to shut down that survey. However, we do want you to make sure to check out the results. The results are still going to be up there, and I'm just going to head into there now. You can see a lot of those. Let's just look at a few of those. Question 5, do you currently have online ordering and e-commerce solutions available to your print buyers? So 38.1 of you said yes, and it's adequate for my needs. So the other 63% is either yes, but not as much as I would like, or no, I don't. This is your time. You've got that slowdown. You've got that time to focus on making sure you've got the online ordering and e-commerce solutions. This is the time to really lean into that and make sure your website is ready to do business, because that's where people are doing business these days. Have you had to lay off any of your workers during this time? Right about half and half, yes and no. And boy, I just want to encourage you. I know that's painful. I know that that can be painful if you are in that position where you have to lay off those workers. So just be encouraged. In the conversations I have with printers like you, over and over again, I just keep sensing that for the printers that are willing to lean into where you're at today, even though times are tough, as reflected by question 6 here, having to lay off some workers, boy, if you can just hang in there, there's going to be so much pent-up demand that's just going to blossom out of this once we're all through this. So keep on hanging in there. Be encouraged. Let's drop down to a few more. Questions 8, do your employees have the ability to telecommute? And I know that's not too easy to put the press in the back of the truck and telecommute that way, but for some of you, you are able to telecommute. And I would just maybe put a little nudge in there. If you're having some trouble with that, well, more specifically, if the phone part, we did have a webinar topic on phones and how You can easily telecommute with phones, keeping the same phone number that's everyone's used to. It can really be business as usual. I'd encourage you to take a look at episode number 5 about OnSIP and how they make it super easy to work remotely from a phone technology perspective. Number 9, do you expect a significant future impact on your print business due to the coronavirus? And the majority says, yes, I fear significant revenue loss that may be unrecoverable. I would like to encourage you, this is a little bit of a side note, but we have some ideas that are really starting to form on how you might be able to answer that question a little bit better. And I would encourage you to go to our blog, marketingideasforprinters.com/blog, and take a look at this blog post. Is it time to consider providing subscription services at your print businesses? Take a look at that. I'm not going to go any further other than to say that there it is, and that this idea about providing subscription services is one to look at. It's something that might soften the blow for a situation like the coronavirus pandemic that we're all in. All right, enough of that. That's the updates, that's the housekeeping. I am going to quickly transition to today's guest, and the guest is actually going to be another webinar series. And we've started this webinar series well before the coronavirus affected everything so much. And that webinar series is the Sell More Printing webinar series. Matter of fact, if you go onto our website under the marketing tab on the top and go to resources, you'll see it. Here's the Sell More Printing webinar series. And it just so happened that the last episode, 3 quick tips for maximum social media engagement, that one actually kind of cross-pollinated with some of the things that we're talking about here. And it's really a topic that's relevant right now. And the important thing for you to know is social distancing does not mean you have to give up on social engagement. And that was the focus of that webinar. It's an important webinar, and we're going to spend today's webinar, the one that you're watching right now, watching a rebroadcast of part of that webinar, again, with our marketing director, Rachel Neese. So you'll have several minutes to absorb some high quality information, and then I'll be back with you to wrap things up. So give me a moment to get that rebroadcast of part of the Sell More Printing webinar series up in front of you, and I'll be back in towards the end to get us wrapped up here. Here comes the webinar.
Here I go. I'm going to start with this 3 quick tips, and we're going to just kind of go 1, 2, 3 and kind of boom through this for you. So the first kind of post that's going to get you some really good engagement is called a fill-in-the-blank post. Fill-in-the-blank posts are great because they draw people in. They're quick and easy to respond to. All you need to do is create like a short 1-sentence kind of fill-in-the-blank statement or question that allows the reader to comment just a simple 1-word answer. For maximum results, you're going to want to add an image behind your text, and you can do that right within Facebook if you want. I'm going to kind of show you how to do that here in a second. But here are some examples of what those fill-in-the-blank type posts look like. So over there on the left, these are some I just made up quick on our Sandbox Facebook page. So if blank was an Olympic event, I would totally have a gold medal. Okay, just fun little quick statements where they can just comment 1 word and have fun with it. And your name's attached to it and they can engage with you. You move over there to the 3rd one. My favorite thing about print marketing is, yes, you can tip these to be more business if you want, but also weigh that against being practical of what people are going to naturally want to comment on. The last one there, if I could go anywhere right now, I would go to, right? If we're all stuck at home under these, shelter in place orders, a lot of us kind of are getting that travel bug, that itch, right? We want to get out and about. So that's a great one to really kind of engage your audience during this time and get them commenting on your Facebook page. Now, the second one there that's got the hearts and is pink and looks really girly. The first person I'm going to hug after the quarantine is lifted is Now, I know all you guys are looking at this and just kind of cringing and going, oof, I never put that on there. And I get that, but this one is unique and really helpful, and here's why. This type of question is something that's going to cause the person commenting to tag someone else, which means it's going to get someone else involved in the post, and that post just continues to grow, right? So all the girls out there are going to comment about, you know, their kids that they're going to hug, or their husband or their boyfriend or whatever, right? They're going to tag, and you know, guys will do it too, but the idea is that you simply create a way for them to comment that would tag, you know, allow them to tag someone else and get them involved as well. If you're not a hugger, it doesn't have to be that, but that's just an example of what that type of post would look like. Now, I mentioned also that those, you can add a colored background like the ones that are there, and you can do that right within Facebook. So here's how you would do that. These posts I just created, I'm having a hard time finding my mouse here. Yeah, it just disappeared. So anyway, these I just created on our sample Facebook site. I put in my text, and if you see that little square box there that says AA, if I were to click on that, you would get a whole gamut of resources there that you know, just a bunch of different colored backgrounds you can choose from right within Facebook that would add, you know, that type of colored image that we have on this one. So that's an idea. The other thing is you can use your own images. If you have, you know, an image supplier that you use and want to download a stock photo and put your text over the top of it, you can do that as well. And let's say you're, you know, in a hurry, or you don't have access to something, or whatever the reason, if you do end up just putting text out and no image, that's okay as well. It will still help you get that engagement. You'll just get that extra engagement if it, you know, visually catches the eye of that person scrolling through Facebook. So the second one that you can do are called one-word answer posts. This is another type of just quick win post for social media engagement. And here are some examples of what that would look like. So you could just ask a simple question and have you know, just one-word answers. So do you prefer to use direct mail for connection or promotion? Well, they can just put in connection, or they can type in A or B. You know, when online shopping, which would you prefer to receive free? Free shipping, or do you like the buy one get one item type of thing? Is your place of business still operating during COVID-19? Yes or no? So these can be fun and engaging for your audience, and they can also be survey type of questions where you can learn information about your audience. For example, you know, like that free shipping one versus buy one get one, that might be a big benefit for you to understand that, oh, people really like free shipping, we should do a promotion around free shipping. So you can kind of gain that information off of these types of posts. You know, which would you rather use to promote your business? You know, business cards or brochures? Yeah, anyway, but you can kind of pull those ideas to gather up information for how to best tailor your content and your services to fit your audience, the audience that you're trying to reach. Remember, they don't all have to be print or business focused. The key word in social media is the word social. It is meant to be a way to socialize with your clients. So make sure that you include content that allows for that conversation and the socializing aspect of that to happen. Okay, the last one here that I want to show you is what's called comment polls. As you're probably familiar, Facebook has an actual poll feature on Facebook that you can use, like when you're creating a post and it has, you know, add a video or a picture, they'll have a button there that actually says polls. And those are good, but they don't really prompt you to comment. You end up clicking on a picture, and then it just displays what percentage, you know, which picture is winning in the poll. So you can not get as much of engagement as you might like. So these types of polls, called comment polls, really help boost engagement because they put the person in the position to comment on it. I took that last one, the last question here, and made it into a picture poll. So here's an example. So my favorite season is, and it has listed out where you could comment, or you could either respond by selecting the emoticon or the emoji of how you feel, you know, clicking love if you know, yeah, you get it, if you love spring. And then on the other one, it actually is where you would comment, you know, I love winter, so you would comment A, okay? Both of these are great examples of how to boost your engagement through a poll type of post on your Facebook page. However, one of these polls actually will get you more engagement and is better. Do you have any guesses? So yeah, the one on the right there where they actually have to comment A, B, C, or D, that's going to give you your best engagement on Facebook. It forces them to comment. The other thing about the one on the right there is it allows you to see the comments and to respond to them individually. If everybody selects an emoji response or reaction, while it's great that you're getting all of those reactions, you still can't really add that social element and the conversation part to it. So for example, if Brenda, the print buyer, selects D and comments D on your post, you can reply directly to her and say, oh, we love fall too, Brenda, it's so beautiful, or whatever, and you can create that conversation. Or if Joe Schmo, you know, comments A, that he likes winter, and you know your business is in Fargo, North Dakota, and you're like, what, Joe, are you kidding? It's winter here all the time. You know, but you get the idea. So you can engage your audience and start that conversation just with that beginning point of, you know, a simple poll like this. You can create, you can even, if you're really not design savvy, you can put 4 pictures together on your screen, screenshot the 4 together, and then there you go, you're good to go. So that's just kind of, you know, 1, 2, 3 super simple ideas to help get you some more engagement during this time on your social media channels. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Our next Sell More Printing webinar will be May 13th, 2020 at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you have any questions or comments or future topic requests, or things even related to COVID-19 that you're looking for help for, again, I would encourage you to check out that coronavirus resources for printers.com page, but you can also reach us directly at 701-241-9204, or you can email me directly at rachel.neese@mi4p.com. So thanks so much for joining me this morning. I am praying that you all stay safe, and I hope to see you back here again soon.
All right, so there we have it. That is a rebroadcast of part of the most recent Sell More Printing webinar series. And I've used up all of our time today, so I'm going to kind of wrap up as quickly as I can. But I did want to recap what Rachel's talking about there in her content. It really is such a tender time for marketing messages right now. And Rachel has shared some social media ideas that are really truly relevant for today's coronavirus culture. So I hope you found the value in that, and a lot of good information in there. All right, one other thing, and I'm just going to tag onto that. If you like the ideas that you saw in that rebroadcast, I would encourage you to go to our website, look for that marketing tab, and go under resources. You'll see the whole lineup, as well as the ability to sign up for the Sell More Printing webinar series. I would encourage you to do that. Other things, really quick wrap up here is the recording of today's webinar is going to be posted on coronavirus resources for printers.com. You'll see it drop into this #1 spot. All the previous episodes continue to appear underneath. If you find value in this webinar series and the resources we're sharing, please do us a favor. Please share coronavirus resources for printers.com with your fellow printers. The survey is coming up. That's coming up afterwards. And the whole point of that survey is so we can learn how we can help you. Lots of your follow-up is being turned into tips and FAQs that we continue to deliver via email and blogs or future webinars. And remember, we will get through this together. Okay, the survey is coming around here. Bear with me just a minute. We'll get you out of here so you can continue with the survey.